They do like Libertarians, they do like Greens, they do like Independents. The AI tools that they have are phenomenal. The deep data that I was talking about with L2, instead of purchasing it yourself, they have purchased it. And so you can get a hold of that for $10 a month, which is a steal.
Oh, wow.
They will do texting campaigns for you. They will segment the lists for you. And they will send it out for the cheapest texting rate I've ever found. Not only will they put it together for you, segment out who it should go to, and send it, they will do the responses as well. So it saves you a lot of time. But the AI tools, they're amazing. They have polling now, so you can poll voters on what they care about. But just for fun, sign up. You can sign up for free. You can check out the tools. I've met with them. I've been helping them develop their tools. I am not employed by them. I do not get any money from them. In fact, I pay them money. But they're doing excellent work, and their mind is in the right place of how do we put infrastructure in, like party infrastructure in for people who don't have party infrastructure, and that's what they do. So goodparty.org. They are truly excellent, very helpful. Does your chair want to lead this, or?
What? The chair?
Yes.
No chair
The chair's not here yet.
Who's our ranking member?
Maybe we should go down and everyone can say what they're running for and
Yes.
what their objective is. And
That would be fantastic. Or just,
Check.
Here's the chair if you need. The chair's here.
There we go.
You were summoned.
yes, I was. You don't know what.
yeah, did you want to post this?
What you're running for, what your objective is. What you need to do.
But we can get out of the way.
Yes.
Okay, so yes, take it away. First person.
Oh, we got it.
Jonathan Miller, Wake County, North Carolina, Cary. My objective in this campaign is to... Oh, I'm running for North Carolina Senate, District 16. I wanted to... I want to introduce ideas of liberty to people that aren't used to thinking that way. What else am I?
Do that as a start.
Okay.
Hi, everyone. For those of you online, thank you for coming online. Those of you who are here, it's great to see you again or to meet you for the first time. As you probably know, my name is Matthew Cordon. I'm from Wake County, and I'm running in the North Carolina House District 11. I'm running because I believe, and this is an updated idea, it's not where I started, but that we could really deeply reach people if we make it intimate and if we target an area. And so that's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to do it really damn well.
Wait, before we keep going, can I propose that everyone after this session choose one of these candidates and give them money?
I love that.
So y'all are on top.
Do we have to hold it like a stripper dollar?
Oh, you got it.
Huh? We have to hold it like a stripper dollar?
Put it under red.
Hello, my name is Matthew Clements. First of all, thank you for everybody who's online, who's watching this, and thank you for everyone here for your support. I'm running for North Carolina House 56, which is in Orange County, and I am running to basically to allow to have an opponent to the incumbent. Sorry, I'm going to run to have an opponent for the incumbent, as the Republicans do not like to run in that district because losing stinks. But it is part of politics. But I'm running to focus on three primary things. One is abolishing the ABC Commission. Two is to shine light on North Carolina's Certificate of Need laws, which a lot of people don't know what it is or how it affects their daily life. And three is providing constituent services, defending the North Carolina Constitution and the U.S. Constitution. I will take my pledge to defend those seriously, as all of our politicians should and are not doing today.
My name's Shannon Bray. I'm the candidate for the U.S. Senate. My primary goal, and the one that I always have, is, because I'm a perennial candidate for the Senate, is to cover the spread. Whatever the difference is between the Republicans and the Democrats, all I care about, for the most part, is beating that spread so that they know that the Libertarian Party exists, and we just affected that particular election. That happened in my very first run for the U.S. Senate, and I really think it helped with a lot of breaking ground with a lot of new people. In fact, one of the best things about coming out to some of these conferences is meeting people that say, oh, you know, I remember the 2020 election, or this election or that election, and this is how it affected me. So that's my number one goal. The other thing is exposure. I want to try to grow the party as much as possible, so I don't typically take the typical stances that you'll see. My talking points are not the Republican and the Democrat ones. My website has a pretty good structure for the Libertarian Party. But this particular round, you know, I wrote a book that I'm giving away just to try to get libertarian ideas out the door, you know, outside our area of influence, because there's a lot of places we can't reach. And knocking on doors for us is tough because we don't have an army of people. So, you know, we have to master our digital media. But anyway, I've talked too long. Shannon Bray, thank you.
My name is Brad Hessel. I'm in Wake County, and I'm running in one of the 19 districts in Wake County, the Senate 18 district, which actually extends into Granville County. We have all Granville County as well. It's the only county, or the only district in Wake County that has another county as part of it. It's a fairly competitive district. There are, of those 19 districts, there are only 3 that are competitive, 2 House districts and the Senate district that I'm running in. So I have, I guess you could say, a strategic objective and tactical objectives. My strategic objective essentially is to, like Shannon, I basically want to try to influence the outcome of the election. I ran for the same district in '24, and it's a slightly red-leaning district, but the Democrat actually won by 126 votes out of tens and tens of thousands of votes. I had over 3,000 votes, so the Libertarian vote may well have influenced it. And we do get conversations with policymakers, because overall in Wake County we had 324,000 votes for Libertarian candidates, and over 1 million in the state overall, which isn't a huge number of votes, but it's certainly enough to mean that you can influence individual elections. So there are, you know, policymakers and candidates who want to know about our issues and are cozying up to us to some extent. So I want to, that's the strategic objective, is to further that. Tactically, I'm pursuing electoral reform. I do have positions on healthcare, education, and the economy in terms of allowing more freedom in those areas. But I do talk to voters a lot about fairness for independent voters who are very poorly treated in North Carolina. And of course, end of gerrymandering, which is a pipe dream, but you need to talk about it. And instant runoff voting, or otherwise known as ranked choice voting. So those are my tactical objectives.
My name is Lucas Jones. I'm from Wake County, and I'm running for State House 40. And it would be otherwise an uncontested election. That's why the main reason I'm running. The Republicans are not running a candidate this cycle, and I just want to give the people a choice. And also, I think it's valuable to the party more broadly to fill candidate slots. You know, the more candidates we run that's necessary to be taken seriously. And my strategy is, because I'm trying to, it was discussed in the presentation, running to the right of people or running to the left of people, and I'm sort of trying to emphasize the things that are more right wing, or whatever that means exactly. But Second Amendment, zoning, business friendly policies, and certificate of need repeal, which is a big thing the Wake County Libertarian Party has been focusing on.
My name's Angela Humphreys. I'm a Libertarian candidate for the first time ever, filed for office to give my voters in Craven County House District 3 a third-party option. I've noticed legislation over the years where our rights are eroded, so I wanted to put my name on the line and try to make a difference. I feel like the current lawmaker has been in the seat for a long time, not saying that's necessarily a bad or good thing. However, when we have the same people in, we don't see much change. So it's my goal to make some changes with a couple of policies. With the Second Amendment is a big issue for me. The constitutional carry issue has been a can that our state has just kicked down the road for a long time. Another issue would be maybe getting involved with the schools for a little bit and educating parents about their rights when it comes to their children's medical histories, whether you're for vaccinations or not, just getting people the information they need. So I look forward to talking to you more about my campaign. Thanks so much.
Got one more candidate. Yeah. You got the one for me. Pull up the chair. Thanks.
We're talking about what we're running for.
Yeah, you guys are awesome. Yeah. So.
I gotta leave. I hate public speaking.
Okay. So my name is Maud Abu Ghazala. I've got a campaign slogan: "Don't get mad, get Maud." That'll give me a few votes. So my issue is I actually ran 2002, and my big issue then was not getting into the Iraq War. So good thing is I kept a lot of my material, and I can reuse it now.
Just change one letter.
Yeah, change the Q to an N. That's exactly it. It's the exact same issues. We're doing it again. Nobody likes this war. Everybody knows it's a disaster. I'm gambling because all my material is about the war, because I'm gambling that in November we're still going to be there. I know they're telling us we're going to be done in a week or two, but that's my gamble. Is it's just going to get a bigger and bigger issue.
Don't worry, there'll be other wars.
That's true. Just wait. So I think that's going to be one of the big issues in November, is because it's related to our domestic policy. It's like, we're fighting all these wars overseas because it's going to boost the military-industrial complex. And, that's why we keep getting into these wars, is so that Raytheon and Boeing, we can feed the kids of the executives of all these companies and the shareholders. And, and it seems to me like it's such a bad mathematical equation. It's like, okay, I understand you want to boost the economy by boosting the military-industrial complex, but as a side issue, you're just killing 1 million people overseas for no reason. It's like, if that's the whole purpose of this game, is to boost the military-industrial complex, then just don't kill the 1 million people. Just take all these bombs, and instead of these beautiful cities like Tehran and Isfahan that have centuries and thousands of years of history, we're destroying them just to boost the economy. It's just like, take all these bombs and drop it on Cleveland or something. I mean, nobody's gonna miss it. It's a pretty shitty city anyway. So so instead we're bombing Isfahan with 2,000 years of history. So it's a stupid equation. And if that's your game, at least don't kill people. At least just blow up the bombs and make new bombs.
Okay. Thank you.
Want to take a mic and ask us a question?
Can this one float? This one's asked. Okay. Who has a question for the candidates? We'll open it up to the floor. Yes, sir.
Hi, I'm considering giving money. Why should I give money to y'all? I mean, some of you are running to win, some of you are running for issues. So,
To be fair, Jonathan and I didn't actually get a chance to talk about issues. We were specifically told to introduce ourselves, and that's it. And then other candidates added to that as they went along. So if we may, I'd like to speak on that issue a little bit first, and then allow him to do so as well. Yeah, so I have 4 issues that I care very deeply about, since you asked. I would, I would really like to lower inflation to the best ability that I can, to make housing more available to people, not just for those who don't own a home, but in the way that it would allow people to leave their home and get a new one. My parents are going through that process. I know quite a few people who are, to limit property taxes, but not in quite the same way that the Republicans are in the NCGA. I believe that cities have the potential to go out of control with their percentages, like out of the $100. And so that too has to be limited. I think it's important to put a cap on that so that we protect the future, protect people's wallets. And as part of that also, to allow people to stay where they live, to fight gentrification. I think we can do all those things all at the same time with just very few policies that I can fight for. Secondly, I want to fight for people's personal freedom, for you and yours. There's all kinds of freedoms that we can have that we don't have in North Carolina that we really ought to address, whether it's the ABC store or guns or you name it. Thirdly, I would like to enable reforms that would protect you and empower you. I think there's not enough transparency in the NCGA. I believe that we need more nuanced voting with ranked choice voting. And I believe that term limits would be very good to give power back to you and away from the people who accumulate it with their many terms. Fourthly and lastly, I want to connect you with the environment. I believe from that plank that had unanimous consent that we can do that through the 4 sentences I had written there, but for those who have not read it, of enabling you to be a steward of animals, of the environment, giving you restitution so that any damages that happen to you, that you can fight that, finally, instead of this crony capitalism that doesn't allow you to do that. And then also, with regard to that, to make sure that you always have abundant energy. There's talks right now about the data centers and how they threaten to take so much energy away from you. Well, if we had consistent and sufficient energy, we wouldn't have to worry about that. And that can be done through renewables as well. It doesn't have to be an either-or issue. So that's from my 4 issues, and I'll pass this over to my good friend Jonathan so he can have a chance to speak on this.
Thank you. I didn't take a bunch of notes, but there are a couple of things in this campaign I want to talk about. One of them is very personal. Started smoking marijuana when I was a teenager, and when I was 16, I was coming home from a concert with some friends, and we didn't have any marijuana on us, but somebody did have a pipe that was in the car. Anyways, the driver was speeding. I was asleep in the back seat and woke up to a flashlight in my face. And that was 30 years ago. And there are kids that are still having to have nights like that now. My dad still hasn't gotten over having to pick me up from the police station that night 30 years ago. About 8 years ago, I had a friend who asked me if I could get him a little bit of marijuana. And at the time, I still smoked a lot, and I had to get some for myself anyways. And so I picked him up a little bit, a couple of grams, and I brought it to him. And it turns out he had gotten in a little bit of trouble, and they scared him. And he didn't want to go through that probation and everything, so it wasn't a big deal for him to call an acquaintance and set that person up. And he was setting me up, and I did 17 months in the North Carolina State Prison for that. 17 months. Every bunk, they moved me all over the place. I was in a lot of different prisons, including Central Prison. I ate next to death row. I could see them on the other side of the plexiglass in their red jumpsuits. I wore a brown jumpsuit. I was brown clothes. And that forever changed me. Walking through those halls with a bunkmate who's a murderer Every single prison I went to, my bunkmate had killed somebody. Now, when I was on minimum security camps, they'd killed somebody 20 years ago and they had earned their way down to minimum security, so I never felt threatened by these people. But my bunkmate was a murderer, and I handed somebody 3.5 grams of cannabis, and I will not let another generation go through that. I just won't. And if I don't win, I'm not going to stop fighting for that issue. There's a lot of other issues that I'm fighting for. North Carolina is one of the most important things in the world to me. My parents are from here, my grandparents are from here, their parents are from here, their parents are from here, and I won't stop fighting for North Carolina. Thank you.
The question was, why would you give me money? The first thing I can think of is in my inaugural Senate campaign, I pulled 171,000 votes with $400 in budget. So I'm effective as far as spending campaign money. I think coming out here is probably tripled my campaign budget so far. And even with that, I've put out a book, Spotify audio, a couple other links to where the message can be spread across North Carolina and it not cost us any money. So a lot of what I've been working on is just blood, sweat, and tears on my side, but then I have, Nation Builder, which is the website, and it gets more expensive the more people who check you out and store their names in the database. And that's really my biggest expense is printing anything when we go anywhere, and the website. Other than that, I either work on something or I have a volunteer that helps out, and it keeps a U.S. Senate campaign cost is I think we do really well every time. We get a lot of bang for our buck, so that's what I would say.
I want to say a word about my buddy Shannon here with respect to his book. First of all, if this live stream is archived, we will put a link in there so that you can look at his book. It's a campaign document. I don't know how effective it'll be in actually getting votes, but in terms of just a compendium of ideas, he's got about a baker's dozen different issues in there, and his format for approaching them is really cool. He talks about the issue and what he wants to do. Then he has what he calls social connection, where he has examples of people who would benefit from or are being hurt by the current situation or would benefit from the change he wants to make. Then he talks about what legal changes have to be made, what statutes are in the way of doing what he wants to do and how they would have to change. Then he talks about what the objections would be to what he is proposing, and then he rebuts them. And that's the format he follows for all these issues. So it's a really good read. So if you're interested, definitely check that out. With respect to my campaign, I'm just going to talk about practice. I talked about what issues I'm interested in before. I am going to be looking to text independent voters and do as many postcards as I can afford to that group, since I'm targeting their issues specifically. I am working with the Good Party folks. So if those techniques are something that you're interested in seeing the party experiment with, I do plan to do that, and the more funding I get, the more of that I'll be able to try. So that's the reason for me.
For me, it's just important to, like I said before, the most important thing is giving the people a choice, and being able to donate to me, it will give the people help make that choice meaningful and help people be aware of that choice. That's the main thing, even more so than any one specific issue, because it would otherwise be uncontested. And I think that at that point, there's no point in even voting, because you're just voting. There's no vote against.
John, thanks for your question. I feel like I needed to say that. Thanks for being here today and sharing your concerns. My name's Angela Humphreys from Craven County, House District 3. Why should you support me? Because I'm organized, I'm ready to go, I'm ready to fight for you. You can go to my website, electangelahumphreys.org, and see where I stand, but it's not about where I stand, it's about your concerns, and so I'm willing to go fight for you in the NC legislature. Let's talk after the debate. I'd love to hear more from you.
I guess I forgot to mention I'm running for U.S. Congress in the 7th District. I don't know if I mentioned that. But when I ran the first time, 2002, I got 7% of the vote because it became such a big issue. And 7%, I've learned a lot since then. So I think I'm going to get on the radar. So, it doesn't really make much difference what you have to say if nobody's listening. So you got to get on the radar. And I think I can be controversial enough, and I'm willing to be controversial enough so that I am on the radar, so that people do hear our message. And the money's going to be spent on, you're going to get my time for free. So I'm spending full time doing this. I'm walking the streets. I'm going to the campuses against the draft, make sure people know how to be a conscientious objector. But if you want a libertarian who can get on the radar, who's comfortable getting on the radar, who seeks to get on the radar, that's where I'm going to be. I'm not going to be holding back. Yeah.
Okay.
Any other
And
question? I don't know.
did everyone get an opportunity to answer that wanted to answer?
Yeah.
It's being used for the questions on the floor. My name is Matthew Clements for NC House 56, and I am going to absolutely reject your money. And the rationale for me rejecting your money is the fact that I am not bought or sold by any of the special interests in North Carolina. Duke Power can't sway me to help you invest in their future nuclear plant boondoggles, or in their continuing to use liquid or solid dinosaur-powered fuel to destroy our environment, and also because I'm not doing that to my treasurer. To be a choice candidate, you can run effectively, have your name on the ballot, and get your message out to have volunteers, and you can do that without money. Now, having money always makes things a lot easier and a lot more successful, but you don't have to raise money to be a candidate. But in order to be an effective candidate, you certainly do. But for the goals and the purpose that I have for my campaign, I'm able to do that with self-funding my campaign, keeping the paperwork to a minimum, and trying not to have the state of North Carolina crawling into my bank accounts, my website, the people that donate to me. People don't have to give up their privacy to worry about that. I'm going to fight for you come hell or high water. I'm willing to serve to make sure that the constituents that I represent get a fair shake, and they don't have to spend a penny of their money to have that happen.
When you convince me, I'm not going to give you any money.
Do you have another question from the floor?
Yep. It was
I haven't actually answered the question directly yet. I was answering the previous question, so now it's my time to answer this one. So why should you give me the money specifically to that point? Is that I will treat it like I treat my entrepreneurship. I will take it very seriously throughout the different phases of planning. What will I do with the money? How can I use it very effectively? I concurred with a lot of what you presented on. I've learned those lessons the hard way and quickly the first time I ran 2 years ago. And in that way, I look forward to being very effective. I will use my charm to the best of my ability to recruit volunteers to get now specific with the details. We'll utilize many methods to reach voters, but especially face-to-face conversations, and we'll workshop trying to do that to them as effectively as I can to get recurring things. I know quite a bit about psychology from my college degree, and communications, of course. So with that, your money will be well placed in my hands, and it will go to a good cause. Though I don't think I can win in my very heavily blue district, I can make a meaningful change, awakening for the precincts that I will be targeting. Thank you.
This question will be longer than the answers, which is annoying, I know, but I want to hear 3 words from each of you. I want to hear what your campaign means to you in 3 contexts. What it means to you personally, 1 word. What it should mean to libertarians, not necessarily in your district, that you want to support your campaign, and what it should mean to your constituents or prospective constituents, the voters. 3 words.
Transparency.
Mine would be service.
You sure you don't want to do the 3 words to answer a question?
No, I'm pretty obstinate as it is.
Okay. I need more time. John. Would you like to go?
Can you repeat that question, Susan? Will you repeat it for us? Can you repeat that for us?
And I will say, saying less is harder than saying more. That's what I respect that Matthew made that point. Describe your campaign, what you want it to mean to yourself, what you want it to mean to fellow libertarians, and what you want it to mean to voters.
For the second 2, trust. Trust.
Influence.
Service and choice.
Accountability, empowerment to the party, and transparency to the voters.
I think visibility and ability to expression, I guess, express oneself.
Okay. Togetherness, growth, hope.
So my question to you is, what does it look like when you win? Whatever your win is, how will you know you have won?
Well, you'll know that I won when you go to the store and you see, or a website, and you see any product that currently the North Carolina Alcohol Beverage Commission could get or put on their shelves. You could have the choice of anything that's available. You could place your order. You could have it delivered to your business. You could get the middleman out of the way. You could eliminate corruption in your local ABC boards. That would be the first thing. The second thing would be that the certificate of need laws would be repealed. People could then have cash and carry MRIs. They could have the opportunity to have a healthier, more prosperous life by removing artificial obstacles for success for healthcare. Those are the 2 things that you would see if I won.
Covering the spread in a 50-50 U.S. Senate selection, so where everyone who voted Libertarian made a choice across the country.
Yeah, I would agree with Shannon. Tactically, I'd like to get more votes than the difference between my opponents. Ideally, 30 times more, like I did last time. Strategically, Ryan Brown should get a call from the Speaker of the House of the North Carolina Legislature asking him for advice as to what his interests are, what the interests of the Libertarian Party in North Carolina are. Again, because we did that after 2024. I'd like to see that happen again.
Victory for me would, of course, mean winning the election would be one form, but even short of that, our Democrats, it would be the Democratic candidate adopting some of our policies, taking into consideration what we want and wielding power indirectly that way.
Angela Humphreys, House District 3. Winning can look like a lot of things. It doesn't necessarily mean crossing the finish line on election day, but hopefully we can get to that point. It would be great if on election day, the voters weren't saying, well, I didn't know that you existed. So just what Maud was mentioning earlier about having visibility would be a great victory. But we're already winning in a lot of other ways, and I would love to talk to you all more about that after the forum. So I'll see you at the end. Thanks you all for coming.
So for me, if at the end of the day, we could recognize the formation of a movement. I don't think we're ready today, but I think we can start being part of a movement, unite together, and I want to be part of that. When I see that happening, I want to say, yeah, I was part of that movement that started to dethrone the oligarchy. I mean, that would be, to me, we don't have that. We're very disunited, all of us, all the people are. So if I'm part of combining everybody, uniting everybody, to recognize who the enemy really is, that's the victory. It is actually forming something recognizable as a movement.
Thank you. My sense of victory would be fighting back against the self-sorting that happens in Wake County. People leave to live where they feel like they can find other people similar to themselves, or that's perhaps just a side effect of what happens. Either way, libertarians are fleeing Wake County. I've been keeping track of this, and this is, of course, people who are registered very directly with the party. We need to fight back against that. There needs to be a strong cohort of very passionate libertarians, and I would like to make disciples, much the same way that the church does with its Christians. And so that will be my focus, is depth rather than breadth. So deep as an ocean, but not necessarily as wide as a lake.
You'll know I've won when the government is something you hardly ever have to think about, and it's not really that big a part of your life. And until then, I won't have completely declared victory. But I'm hoping that there's small wins along the way, and I hope to share those with you.
Okay. I will be watching your campaigns now that I know what a win looks like for you. So I'm interested to see how you measure the win so that you know you won, because I will be following up with you. So I'm very excited to watch your campaigns. I have one final question for you, unless someone else has a question. You have a question? Okay. We'll do that, and then I have one wrap up.
So obviously we all know the odds we face, but you're running to win. So let's say you win. What do you do on your first day after being sworn in?
Well, I'm Matthew Clements for NC House 56, and I have pledged that on day one, I will be bringing legislation to Raleigh to abolish the Alcohol Beverage Commission.
I've been writing a lot of legislation so that on day one, I can just introduce it all and read it 3 times and watch it sit in committee.
That's realistic.
I respect that answer. That's a great answer.
And then fight for it.
Yeah. Mine's a bit more boring, but it's very truthful. The first thing I would do, because it's time-wise urgent, is to introduce a bill that would allow for people to work a second session in the NCGA so that people can work a job and be a productive member of society and also be a legislator. The way it is now, they don't get paid a living wage, and nobody wants to raise that. We're libertarians. We're certainly not going to be the ones. So there needs to be a real solution that allows us to kind of keep our cake and eat it too.
I have over 20 policies already written on my website. I think it goes up to 32, but I don't really remember where I'm at with that. But I would start with those. But ideally, it would be on the economy to kind of lessen the effect of, we have the IRS, we have the Fed, we have overprinting, we have so many different things there that we just start trying to chip away at any one of those would ultimately give us a better economy down the road and competition.
So one of the motivations for me running in the first place, the first time I ran back in 2016, was the development of this partisan divide that has just become worse and worse ever since then, where people just don't feel comfortable even talking to people that they don't agree with. And there's a group in the U.S. Congress called the Problem Solvers Caucus. It's got 10 Democrats and 10 Republicans, and they've been in existence about 10 years, about almost the same span of time. They haven't had a tremendous amount of success legislatively, but they have introduced a number of reforms into the way the House works that have helped it to work more effectively and for folks in the House to have more say as opposed to just the leadership. I would like to do something like that in the North Carolina General Assembly. And I am working with my opponents. I have gotten one of my two opponents, I'm not going to say which one, has agreed to enter into a pact. Whichever one of the three of us gets elected, we will work to establish a Problem Solvers Caucus in the North Carolina General Assembly. I'm working on the second one, and I think that if all three of us came out pledging to do that, that would be effective and get a lot of attention. But more to the point, once one of us wins, hopefully we would be able to move in that direction. I think that would be a great thing for North Carolina. So that would be what I would do if I were elected. Well, actually, on Election Day, if they tell me that I got more votes than either the Democrat or Republican, I might be the first winning candidate in North Carolina history to ask for a recount. But but that is what I would do if I were elected.
I think first thing I would do is not anything, it's not one dramatic thing. I have lots of small, but I think impactful issues that I am sort of focusing on. And so it would be just to start to form alliances from a position of having one rather than just being a third obscure candidate, and trying to prepare to bring back, retry bills that have been introduced for, like, constitutional carry, repeal of certificate of needs, and just start doing the work at the ground level, not trying to be flashy or make just a big statement.
Thanks for your question, Robert. When I win, I don't think it's about what I do on day one. I think it's what I'll do during my 2-year term. And not only is the constitutional carry problem and a big issue in North Carolina, but to Matthew's point about their pay of the lawmakers, I think we need to be up there less. We need to work on deregulating, not making as much legislation. Like Lucas was saying, the bills are already there. We just need to get some things over the finish line that are just really common sense and not partisan related, just down to our rights. So not worrying about our income or advocating for more taxpayer dollars to be sent to us for hours that we're up there. I think we need to be up there less. I don't think we need more money to restrict North Carolinians more with cumbersome legislation. And I would just start there. Thanks for your question.
So I'd have 3 bills ready to go. First one would be to close or end funding for all the military bases. We have bases in 80 countries, none of which are protecting us. So that's one. Number 2, I'd end foreign aid to Egypt, Israel, Jordan, the whole Middle East. We're getting nothing out of that. We're just creating more war. And number 3, the gold standard. I'd try to reinstitute that.
So we do have a question. He has a question for just one candidate.
The question is for you, just sir, since you're running for U.S. House. You have Jacksonville, which means you have all the Marines in your district.
It's actually not in the district.
It's not in the district. Looks like right on the edge, but you got all the retirees in New Bern. So leave geography alone for a moment. Just you've got a lot of Marines in that. So just pretend there's a lot of people that were in the Marine Corps that live in your district, which they do.
Fort Bragg is in it.
Okay, so let's get,
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
don't argue with your, yeah.
Got it.
Work on the candidate training. With all of those veterans in your district, how are you going to approach that conversation? Because it is, right, they sometimes take a very different perspective. They certainly are more acutely aware of being cannon fodder used in wars they don't want to be in, but at the same point, there is that over-the-top level of patriotism sometimes. I just like your approach in talking to people.
Yeah, so I did a lot of, that happened when I ran last time that came up. And like for the younger ones, I'm all for a conscientious objection, like I said. And, the most support I got was actually from the families. So it's not just them, but their families. It's like they don't want them shipped overseas for a war they don't understand. So that's even more people than the actual, the Marines themselves. I mean, I want them to defend our country. I'm proud of them for defending our country. I just don't see that is in defense of our country. They don't make policies, but, I'm already hearing a lot of pushback that you heard the whole toilet thing with the Lincoln, that they're stuffing their shirts down the toilet so they don't have to go fight. You can be patriotic and just say, being patriotic means defending your homeland, and it's just, maybe this isn't the right war for us. I don't want them to have an insurrection, but, we don't need to be doing this. We need to be protecting our own citizens.
Okay.
Is that okay?
I do have one statement that I'd like to make in support of Matt here, is that how dare Iran put their country in the middle of all our military bases?
I know it. Okay, we're going to wrap this up. I have one last question for you all to go out on. And this is as important for the audience and the audience at home as it is for the candidates. What is the one thing that you need in your campaign to be successful? What are you lacking? What do you need from people right now?
Matthew Clements for NC House 56. Thank you so much, Cara, for the question. And in my campaign and for the things that I'm focusing on in the campaign for the constituents and the people that I represent, I need people to understand the scope of the things that I would like to affect change on. And one of that is, in certificate of need laws, is letting people know how insidious the picking and choosing winners and losers comes from Raleigh in this particular case of limiting health care and maximizing profit for the shareholders of these healthcare companies. That would be the absolute main type of message that I would like to have.
What help do you need?
Yeah.
What help does your campaign need?
Yeah, I would need volunteers and also in helping to find people in particular that live in North Carolina House 56 that are affected by certificate of need laws, and to also to have the students that are the future of our country to realize that there are people out there fighting for their future and trying to make the world a better place. I want people to see libertarians on their ballot. I want them to see us making a concerted effort to make our country, our state, our districts, our counties, and our towns a more healthy, happy, and prosperous place to live.
Thank you. Once again, I don't believe I've said my name in a bit. It's Matthew Corden, running for NC House District 11. I think I would really like volunteers from impressionable minds. If I get the money to pay them all, that would be excellent. I would love that. But I believe the human connection there can go so much further than the short length of the campaign would. And that, as I've said before, arguably twice already, that camaraderie is so very important for the liberty movement, and it would be for my campaign as well.
Honestly, the thing that would help me the most is downloading a free copy of the book, doing a book review on it, and then trying to get 2 or 3 other people to do it, because it costs absolutely nothing, but it gets a libertarian message out there. and, could potentially really help us in the long run.
Speaking of which, I should mention, in addition to the link to Shannon's book, we will put links for all of the candidates for their websites and so on, whatever they've got, in the comments section on the YouTube video. As for my campaign, again, I am going to be attempting to do some more in terms of outreach than I've done in previous campaigns. And I have like 40 precincts in between Granville and Wake County in my district, and I was able to personally hit about hit 2 of them out of the 40 in my 24. So I would like to have to recruit some volunteers to hit more counties and test that out and see what the difference is between counties where we have folks that have door knocked on all the independents in the county, in the precinct, and compared to precincts that we don't do that. As well as the funds to do more in terms, as I mentioned before, outreach in terms of texting and postcards to targeted voter groups.
I would say the most helpful thing to me would be to, donate to the party in general, because the way I'm doing it is in-kind donations, and that can be funded through that. But also just like tell your friends in the district about me. Just like word of mouth, I think, is valuable.
Things I need for my campaign are going to be help from you. And I don't want to ask you guys for financial support, but let's be honest, that's what we need to win elections and make a difference, and to be visible and kind of move the goalpost here. Anyway, so we need volunteers, financial support. If you're influential in your community, I'll come over and talk to your neighbors. If you want to host events, things like that, let's get out and talk to the communities and see what's important to people in our district in Craven County. And I look forward to getting together with you all. Thanks so much.
Yep, I think the most influential thing that I would need for my campaign is for the Uniparty to continue to be the Uniparty, for the war to continue. So besides that, yeah, we need volunteers. It's like, I think we got the right message, but we just got to get the word out, and we don't have a ton of money, so it's going to be a lot of grunt work. So it's not we just like brochures and things like that. Volunteers would be great, and any money you can give us would help. But yeah, I think the war is the main thing. Just keep the war going.
Jonathan Miller, North Carolina Senate District 16. That's Western Wake County. I need people in Western Wake County, left, right, center, Libertarian, Republican, Democrat. I need people who believe in North Carolina and love North Carolina, that trust me and will support me.
I meant to say my website, electangelahumphreys.org, to connect with me, and we'll get out and spread the word and get focused on your neighborhoods and stuff.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much, candidates. Thank you so much for running for office, for being the flag bearers for this movement, for bringing issues to your residents and trying to give a more liberty option and solutions. It is not easy to be a candidate. Even if you are a choice candidate, it is not an easy thing to do, and it's a very public thing to do. And although you are surrounded by people and you have help, it can also be a very isolating thing as well. So I appreciate what you are doing so much, and what you are doing for your community and for this party. So thank you very much. I appreciate that. Oh, certainly.